Welcome to my Moab Trail series, where I'll be sharing some trails that I ran during a recent trip to Moab that will showcase some of the most beautiful, rugged, and otherworldly trails in the desert. Over the next few episodes, I'll take you along for everything from slick rock and vast deserts to quiet canyon miles, showing what makes each trail unique and what it takes to run in the desert. But before we jump into the trails, I have to give a huge shout out to a partner of the channel, Koros. This trip was all about exploring, and my Koros Apex 2 Pro made it so easy to do just that. I conveniently mapped out each route ahead of time on my phone, seamlessly loaded it straight to my watch, and never had to worry about getting off course. And even with the navigation on for every trail run I did, the battery life was unreal. I didn't have to charge it once the entire trip and was able to even get a few runs in once I made it back home on that same charge. The Koros Apex 2 gave me the freedom to just run, explore, and take it all in. So thank you so much to Koros for partnering with me. You can use my code Mountain High Life to receive a free watch strap with your purchase. Again, thank you to Koros. Be sure to go check them out. All that to be said, let's jump into today's adventure. Let me start by explaining that originally I was going to share all of these trails in one single video. I realized very quickly during the editing process that combining all of these trails into one single video would end up being pretty lengthy, and so considering your time as well as mine, I've decided to split my Moab adventures into 4 separate videos, one video for each day. I'm going to finish this mini series with a video that will share some important information regarding tips, tricks, and things to know when running in the desert that might be beneficial, whether it's your first time going or you need a little refresh on kind of what to expect while running in the desert. So that's that. So for our first day in Moab, we were going to be exploring the Navajo Rocks area. Traditionally, Navajo Rocks is a 9-mile loop with about 1,000 feet of elevation gain that's used by mountain bikers and hikers alike, that offers a wide variety of terrain from slick rocks and rock rolls to fun, technical dirt and rock. It certainly has something that will keep all trail goers engaged. And since this was our first day in Moab, I do want to preface that we did get started a little later than we had originally anticipated. When we arrived in Moab, it was actually at 4 a.m. that same day, so we slept pretty bad. We got a pretty late start, so in order to accommodate proper care for our dog, I decided to take our dog Lottie on my running adventure with me while Chandler went out and was riding his dirt bike. During our trip, we always had somebody with our pup, whether it was at the hotel or out and about. We just didn't want to leave her alone in the hotel. There was a lot of construction going on, so on this first day, we just kind of had to make do with the situation. So Lottie came along with me, and because of this, I knew I'd probably be cutting the actual loop short, which is what I ended up doing. Lottie is just over a year old, and although she started to run with me, I'm trying to keep it below or around 6 miles for our long runs together right now. So at this point in time, I'm very mindful of the distance as well as heat and other conditions for her, and this particular adventure was no exception. I knew I wouldn't really be completing the whole loop, so let's go explore Navajo Rocks. Okay, so we made it to the Navajo Rocks trailhead. Chandler's trying to figure out his strategy, but Lottie and I are gonna get started on the loop. I don't know what we're in for, but we have plenty of water. I have plenty of snacks. She has plenty of snacks, so we'll just see how she's feeling and rocking and rolling. Also gonna be very mindful of the distance, so I have no problem turning around if that's what we gotta do, and just cutting the loop short, maybe to 5 or 6 miles if that's what we gotta do. So we'll see what we get into, but lots of mountain bikers out today. It's pretty crowded even for a Friday, but really beautiful up here. Excited to explore and show you guys around. So it's just about 2 o'clock, so Navajo Rocks, let's do it. Also, I forgot to mention, it is perfect weather today. It's like low 60s. Sun's out, most perfect little breeze. It's my favorite running weather ever. And we're here in Moab. I'm just so stoked to be out here today. So given the fact that we were exhausted today and we just wanted to make sure, well, given the fact we were exhausted, slept in and didn't have a ton of daylight left, I think this was a great option for me to bring the dog. So we'll see. Lots of kind of fun technical terrain. So we're doing a mixture of walking, hiking, and look at this little crusher. And I know I've talked about it in previous videos running in Moab, but I can't emphasize enough the importance of trying to stay on trail to avoid damaging the ever so fragile cryptobiotic crust. So I have Lottie on a running leash today. It's got like a bungee to it, so it sits around my hip. Super stoked to be out here on this trail. I'm not sure how long we'll be out, but we're ready for adventure, like I said, for whatever our day has in store. First mile down and first little doggy water break of the day done. So we'll just stop and have water probably every mile. Oh man, oh man. And just be mindful of, you know, how she's doing, heat and all that. She tends to run a little hot, but thankfully, like I said, it's not super hot today. Okay, we're having another little water break because she's the boss and she wants water, right? We're just chilling, taking it slow, running, shuffling, jogging. Isn't that right? You're doing so good. You're a little rock star. But I would say that this trail is really well marked because it is a mountain bike trail and it's on slick rock. Out of some of the trails I've run in Moab, I'm actually so impressed with how well marked and easy to follow this trail is, which is really nice because I've gotten very confused on a few other trails. So that's pretty nice. And I think this one would be good if you want like a quick little loop. The other thing I wanted to mention is it is really exposed. So if you're here during a hotter month, just to be conscientious of the fact that like you're in the desert, so I don't know what else you would expect if I'm being honest. If you're in a canyon, yeah, you'll get some shade, but with the desert, it's pretty much going to be exposed sunshine. I had to interrupt today's episode to talk about the longtime partner of the channel, Janji. For every run in this series, I relied on the Sun Chaser hoodie from Janji to keep me protected from the elements of the desert. If you're looking for a great protective sun shirt that has a hood and the ability to keep you out all day, look no further than the Sun Chaser hoodie. You can click the link in the description, use my code MountainHighLife for 10% off your order. Thanks so much to Janji for partnering with me, believing in my channel, and making superior running apparel. Now back to the video. So we're about just about 2.5 miles in. I don't know, we might turn around soon, make it 6 and just chill on the way back. So we'll see. I'm just sussing it out, but all in all, enjoying ourselves. Navajo Rocks, not too bad. 2.8 miles in and we're gonna meander on back, go at puppy pace. I just want to be very mindful of her needs and let her just chill. She's been doing really good, but we're gonna just turn it around. I definitely want to come check out the full loop. This is a good little introduction and preview. Fun first day in Moab. So since I have turned around and am now going the opposite direction, my Coros watch was sure to tell me that I'm headed the wrong direction, and it did it pretty quick, which I think is really awesome. Just thought I would share. Almost back, so timing was immaculate today, which is fun. I've never seen Chandler ride a dirt bike ever. Yeah, I got to see like him very briefly. He didn't see us, but yeah, like I said, really good timing. So hopefully we'll get some dinner soon because I'm so freaking hungry. How are you doing? You doing good? She's just crushing. She's so awesome. So we'll be back at the car soon. So we're back at the car, or the truck I should say. We've made it. That was like 5.5 miles. And now we're just waiting on Chandler. We saw him briefly and then he took off, and I'm not exactly sure where he went, but he was able to call me and we talked on the phone. So he should be back pretty soon. Hopefully we'll get to bed early tonight so I can wake up and get a run done bright and early tomorrow. And then Lottie and I will go for a hike and hang out in the afternoon. All in all, solid start to the weekend. I'm glad we're easing in and not just going crazy and doing a 15-mile run today, because that probably would have taken me out. So yeah, we're feeling tired, but we made it. Completed the full Navajo Rocks loop, which in my book isn't always a bad thing. It just means unfinished business and a reason to return to the area. Like I mentioned, the trail did feature a lot of slick rock, sand, rock, technical terrain, but without too much elevation gain or loss. I feel that this trail and loop could be a great taste or introduction to what it's like to run in Moab, because it does offer such a wide variety of different terrain and provides a great sense of what it's like to run in the desert without requiring a huge level of commitment. There's quite a few bailout options along the loop, despite me not making it to those bailout sections, but there are different areas where you can actually access the main road pretty close to where the trail is. So if you do need to hop off the trail and hitch a ride, or you run out of water, or conditions get bad, it's very easy to bail out. Another thing I really appreciated for people who might be newer to running in Moab is that the trail is very well marked. Even when you're running on slick rock, there's an abundance of dashes to keep you on the proper route, as well as along the dirt. The boundaries of the trail is usually outlined with rocks that are placed along the side of the trail, which I think is really nice, especially if you are newer to running in Moab. It just it feels a little bit easier to navigate than some other trails I've personally been on in Moab. And although I did briefly mention it while I was out on trail, this area is very exposed to the sun and elements of the desert. You are really out there in the desert, so there's just a few things to keep in mind with that. Time of year, if you're going to be going in the summer, you're going to want to get to this area pretty early to avoid a high UV index later in the day or the highest times of heat throughout the day. You'll also want to be mindful of sun protection, making sure you're wearing proper gear and apparel, bringing enough water, sunscreen, eye protection, wearing a hat, and avoiding as much sun exposure as you possibly can, or at least mitigating it. Now, this trail is very popular for mountain biking. I would say throughout my whole weekend, this is the area I ran into mountain bikers this area is where I ran into the most amount of mountain bikers on one singular trail. And if you aren't a huge fan of sharing the trail with mountain bikers, I would recommend getting there early. Avoid going in the later parts of the day and afternoon, as you'll most likely see a larger population of mountain bikers out on the trail. And I do want to note that as somebody who's a mountain biker myself, although pedestrians do have the right of way, given the terrain, it's really tricky terrain on a mountain bike, and it might not always be super easy for a mountain biker to come to an abrupt stop that doesn't put them in a compromised situation. So I just want to encourage you to be very mindful and aware of your surroundings, and if there is a mountain biker, perhaps give them the opportunity to kind of make their way through technical or difficult sections, especially on slick rock. Traction with a mountain bike tire, it can be good, but it can also be a little sketchy. So just be kind, be mindful, and be a friend to all while you're out on the trail. And last but not least, it's so important to be mindful of the fragile environment and ecosystem that the desert has to offer. It is all of our responsibility to be mindful and respectful of the environment and to do our absolute best in taking responsibility to leave no trace. And so that to be said, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of 5 of my Moab Trail series. So that is going to do it for today's episode. I do anticipate that Throughout this series, I will be hopefully uploading 2 videos a week. So if you care to see more of the trails and adventures I embarked on during my time in Moab, consider subscribing. I'll also put a link to the route featured in today's video down in the description, as well as a pinned comment. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Any thoughts, questions, or concerns, you can leave it in the comments down below. Thank you again to Janji and Koros for being partners of the Mountain High Life channel. Go give them some love, check them out. Links will be down in the description. And finally, thank you for sharing your time with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you get out on some trail today, and I'll see you in my next Moab adventure in my Moab mini series. Thanks for watching. Bye.